Hello, I'm so happy you're here tonight for our book study on Rise of the False God, Transformation Through Illumination. You're going to get some illumination tonight, and I'm hoping I just seem to be in the area where the things I am sharing about are things I get challenged about a lot. But I'm just going to keep on rolling along and pray that you will simply listen with an open mind. This is the collective wisdom that I believe I have gained over my decades in unity, the unity philosophy and life. I kind of see myself as an ever going on student of life. So, and if you can't learn from your life, I think it was, did we talk about it the other day? Einstein said the unexamined life is not worth living. So this is a chance to examine our life and see if any of these principles can work to make our life happier, healthier. So are you ready for tonight? And this is one of those buckle your seatbelt nights because there are some things that a lot of folks don't agree with. And that's okay. I'm not asking anybody to agree with me, only to accept the possibility that I may make a point or two here and there. If you're new to our book study, you can find all of the different videos on YouTube. Just search Rise of the False Gods, Alicia Leslie, and there you'll have it. So I also welcome comments and questions. I may not see them until after I review the video, but you're certainly invited and encouraged to share. I'm just glad you're out there sometimes and might pop in a little hello or whatever. Oh, before we get going, though, into Heaven, Hell, and Hollywood, I'd like to share a beautiful Buddhist prayer. And it says, "May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. May all beings be free." I think that's beautiful. Can you imagine if you really, really felt that every day? Can you imagine how wonderful your life would feel? So I invite you to try that one on. It is the Buddhist prayer of loving kindness. And now we shall get to the nitty-gritty of tonight's study, which is Heaven, Hell, and Hollywood. I'm on page 119 for those of you that are following along in the book. If you're in Kindle, it's somewhere in that area. Okay. By the way, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can get the Kindle version for free to read it. Follow along. Alrighty. On the earthly plane, from a metaphorical perspective, we find heaven above, hell below, and ourselves caught in the middle of a spiritual tug of war. Through the pivotal ability of the mind, we can choose where to focus. What do we want to put our attention on? Do we want to put our attention high in the spiritual realm of all possibility, or do we want to keep it low and look at the worldly circumstances we're in, giving them more importance than a greater possibility? As for me, I prefer to try to seek high. But some days that's not easy. Some days I feel like I'm pulled down by gravity itself, just you know, the gravity of the subject. Did you ever notice they use that word? They'll be talking about, about how dire a circumstance is, and right now I just finished watching. I'm going to pull this a little closer because I feel like I'm too far away from you tonight. Oh, that feels much better. Okay. So tonight we watched on, I watched on TV some of the first people in the UK getting the vaccine for the coronavirus. I thought that was pretty exciting. Not everyone will want to get the vaccine, but it was quite, I'm going to look forward to, how they show the map with all the red showing the degree of coronavirus that's all over. I'm going to look forward to that fading and going from red, to lighter, to orange, to yellow, to bingo, you're gone. Maybe a ways down the road, but I know with you that as we go through this, we can make it and make it happy and healthy. Wear your mask, don't touch your face, and stay away from, to keep your distance from other people. Don't break the rules and requirements, especially at this time. I know we're tempted, but that's low consciousness thinking. Low consciousness thinks about me, my mind, and what I want to do, no matter what the result is. Whereas higher consciousness thinking says, let's rise above this. We can do things differently. Well, that was one of my jaunts off the path. Steering myself back on the path now. Okay. It is easier to surrender to the law of gravity. What is it they used to say? It's as easy as falling off a log. Well, gravity wins every time. So, of course, it's more difficult to pull ourselves up higher, to remember that this is just appearances. Don't judge by appearances. Lift yourself up. Come up higher to a different realm. We want to break the gravitational pull of lower consciousness. And then we want to expand higher consciousness through our entire being, through our planet, through creation, and live a wonderful life. I actually heard someone on TV today. I do more than watch TV. I just always have it going on in the background, okay? Got a lot done, but not everything. But he said some people believe in this cause and effect thing, and that's just not true. Well, you know what? I've been studying metaphysics for going on 40 years, and cause and effect works. How do I know it works? Because I work it. Now, it doesn't happen instantaneously as we want things to happen these days, but it works. And the easiest way to see how it works is if our hindsight is 20/20 and we go back and examine that life and watch just how it worked. Okay. The rewards of coming up higher promise happiness beyond measure, where our dreams come true and life is perfect every day. When we consider the concepts of heaven and hell, we can shift our perspective so heaven represents the highest state of being and hell the lowest, rather than a geographical or spiritual location. I was very excited in 1999. Pope John Paul II said, "More than a physical place, hell is the state of those who freely and definitely separate themselves from God." He added, "The images which hell is presented to us by sacred scripture must be correctly interpreted. They demonstrate the complete frustration and emptiness of a life without God." At the same time, the Pope dismissed the notion of heaven as a physical place among the clouds adorned by pearly gates and harps. My source for this was the Nashville Tennessean, August 1st, 1999. But Unity has been teaching that there is, that heaven and hell are states of consciousness for a long time, like over 100 years for sure. Okay, let me see, did I skip something? Okay, Hollywood, or the entertainment industry, is influential. It has the ability to manipulate thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Now, this is not some big old woo-woo thing. We can all do it. You know, did I tell you before about the book, the movie I saw? It's called If a Man Answers. This is like almost 100 years old, I swear. Sandra Dee and Bobby Darin. And it was where a woman's mother wanted to help her in her marriage, so she gave her a book called There Are No Bad Dogs. And it was about training a dog, so in a sense she was training her husband. But the training she was doing was through things like your dog's not going to come to you if you go, get over here right now. You're much more likely to get the dog to come to you if you go, come here. And which is why we have such a hard time with relationships, right? So we think we can manipulate others with fear and such. But the fact is that every time sometimes we are polite and understanding, that in a way it is manipulating, not in a bad way, it is kind of shaping. Every day as we go through our conversations, our activities, our jobs, our free time, our hobbies, we go through our mind being drawn from one thing to another to another. Now, when the mind focuses on something and adds emotion to it, that's when manifestation happens. Okay, it has the ability to manipulate our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Through the law of mind action, as stated earlier, the thoughts we hold in mind manifest in kind. If we think about something long enough, chances are we're going to find something happens. What's my example? I don't even have to ask you. You can tell me. It's chocolate cake. You think about a chocolate cake long enough, we're going to be making that chocolate cake. This works in so many ways. If we don't want to have a chocolate cake, if we're either on a diet or something, we got to stop thinking about it, right? You don't want it. Stop thinking about it. Where the mind goes, energy flows, and manifestation follows. Now, a lot of where our mind goes is not chosen by us. It happens subconsciously as we go through our day. So it's an interesting paradox. They have the power to inspire or influence. Now, we've covered that before. Inspiration, it comes from higher consciousness. It is our mind is the connecting link with divine mind. On the other hand, influence is the inflowing of consciousness on the lower level. So it's when we get caught up in something that's going on. It doesn't have to be actually real. But it produces. The message presented reflect the human condition while projecting ideas into the collective. It's like broadcasting seed. So when you're sitting in a movie, when you're listening to music, even when you're looking at People magazine, whatever, the newspaper, there is an engagement of your thinking and your feeling. And it is the engagement of the thinking and feeling that will manifest in your life. So if you're in a movie theater and the movies, it's on the screen and it's doing things and you're following along, and sometimes you feel like every character in the movie. That's like seeds are going out. This is a problem. This is how the person handled it. This is how it works out. That can be positive or negative. The movies, the music, the media, the games, they can be positive or negative. They affect everyone, but they don't affect everyone to the same degree. This is where it gets kind of natty. So buckle your seatbelt because I'm asking. Just listen. Just don't run away on me. What makes media so powerful is it engages both the thinking and feeling natures, both components of the creative process. The influence it has depends on the emotional impact we experience. We have a lot of thoughts every day, but it's the emotions we attach to that thought that brings it to fruition, that brings a manifestation. Love begets love. Violence begets violence. The thoughts we consistently hold in mind manifest in our world. I know you don't want to hear this. I've been told over and over, it's just a movie, it's just a game, but we're talking about right of consciousness. What is going on behind what you see? While a persistent viewer of violent movies may not kill someone, studies show they have less compassion or desire to help others. This came from an MSNBC article from 2012. When this topic arises, the common response I get all the time is, "That's ridiculous. It's only a movie. It's only a game. It's only a song." And there's a river, a little river that runs through Arizona. That little river eventually created the Grand Canyon. Our consciousness can be eroded. Did you ever find, you gotta be careful of the company you keep? I have a friend who I dearly love, and she's got a very spicy vocabulary. And if I spend 2 or 3 days with her, my vocabulary seems to pick up a little spice. Not a lot, because it's one thing I believe that using foul language diminishes the appearance of your intelligence to others, that you don't should look to be as kind, compassionate, and intelligent as you really are. So just think on that. But anyway, we catch sometimes our attitudes from our friends. But we want to be the ones that generate the good attitudes, not the ones that become subject to someone else's bad attitude. If we do, you have to nip it in the bud. If we go into, let's say we're at the office or something, and there's a lot of people, and maybe the managers put out some kind of a notice that you don't like, and everybody's going to get in a corner and gripe, and we can manipulate that situation. We can say, big deal. They're the ones that sign the check. Whoever signs the check, if they tell me I've got to fill in the blank, that's what I do. I fill in the blank, long as it's legal and moral, Okay. So it's nothing further than the truth. It is more than a song. It is more than a game. It is more than a picture, a book. A Psychology Today article published January 8, 2018, notes a study, Bandura, Ross, and Ross, back in 1963, that demonstrated the impact of exposure to violent programs and movies what it had on children, who not only imitated but expanded the violence in play, the violence in their play after the exposure. Well, we've seen that 100 times, haven't we? So, it's like my dad always said, it's not what you got, it's what you do with it. A little bit may not be harmful, but when you engross yourself in it, and when that is always your choice of music, your choice of movie or whatever. Okay. Well, when we don't like to have to, discipline ourselves. But this self-discipline is a way of becoming stronger, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's watching our finances, whether it's choosing what we watch on TV. Because some of either the sex or the violence, it's very stimulating to our physical being. So even romance, oh my God, romance, I swear Frankie Avalon and Annette Funicello got me into both of my bad marriages. There's a difference between being a romantic and a hopeless romantic. That was me. I thought it was easy to fall in love and any two people could have a good relationship. Boy, did I have some lessons to learn, I'll tell you. Going back to this article, this is not true of all children, but the ones who already have a leaning to it. In other words, if they already have a hot temper, if they already have issues, and if they are compulsively watching these things. That brings to mind another movie. I did offend someone who was in the industry, and he wanted to probably have a public book burning of my book because he was so angry when he read it. This stuff, because he took very big offense at it. This is not intended to be offensive. I don't think anybody likes movies more than I do. And they are inspiring and they are influential. Where is that influence taking us? So when I'm thinking about movies and how they affect us, all of a sudden a movie came to mind. It was called Superstar. I don't mean Jesus Christ Superstar. I mean, and I don't know who the actors are, but this girl, she wants to be an actress, and she's a teenager, and she does this, she practices her acting. So she will be in I don't know, on the grounds of her school, and she'll walk over and she'll practice passionately kissing a tree. And so she's into this illusion of what's it going to be like, and she wants to be a star. And if you ask a lot of people, young people today, what they want to be when they grow up, they might want to be they want to be a rock star, but they don't know what it means to be a rock star. They don't understand what they go through. They just want to be YouTube. They want to be a YouTube star. And because just about, honestly, anybody can go on YouTube and do a show. I do. Twice a day even, with the Christmas thing I've got going on now, the holiday thing. So yeah, anybody can do it. Doesn't mean it's the wisest thing to do. Oh gosh, my time goes fast when we're doing this. Well, I'm definitely not going to make it as far as I expected, but let's just continue a little bit. So again, it's not what you got, it's what you do with it. There's no hard and fast. All movies, all violent movies are bad. Even though I don't care for them, I don't like where they take my mind. I do not like movies with gratuitous sex, because to me it's defiling something that is absolutely beautiful. And here's the thing though, I'm not a prude. I think one of the best movies that I ever saw was Calendar Girls. And if you haven't seen it, you should. It's a story about some women who decided to make a pinup calendar. The women, of course, were senior citizens. And that was really cute. Another really cute one that some people might question, I don't, I thought it was wonderful, was the Full Monty. The old one, not the new one. On the other hand, little naive me, I went to the movies with my sister. Imagine this: two senior citizen women going in to see the movie Magic Mike. We were out of there within the first 15-20 minutes. We watched it a little while to see if it might get better, but I could not, and it's really unfortunate, but that really reflected on the star of the movie and really turned me off to even wanting to see any of his other movies. It's a different kind of manipulation. But seeing the movies and being influenced rather than inspired by them, that is a form of the everybody's doing it manipulation. Oh, well, it's no big deal, it's no big deal, it's no big deal. And unfortunately, the more we tell ourselves things that are not healthy for us are really no big deal, the more pain and suffering we have. That's the bottom line of it. When we present things as a normal, okay behavior, when it's really not healthy, nothing good is going to come of that. I have, by the way, in the book, if you get the book, where even on Kindle, you go to the back, there's resources for all these things that I'm talking about. When we see a movie, play, or television program we like, we think about the parts that most impressed us. They go over and over and over in our mind. So if we're holding something in our mind, what's going to happen? Thoughts held in kind create after their kind. If we listen to the song, this is old. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. That actually, we can use that to manipulate our own mind to draw us to maybe having some inappropriate behavior. When I say inappropriate, this is nothing judgmental. It's a matter of being in pain and suffering from our own cause and effect. You know, we send the causes out, we reap the effects. So as we hold it, we work farther to emulating it, creating it. Same thing with video games. The more violence we put into our minds, the more easy it is that we see somebody. If we see people disrespecting is really huge in movies today. Sex, violence, and disrespect. They seem to be cool. Why? Because it feels good to the human part, to the carnal part. But it's something that you send forth that's negative, and the only thing that can come back is negative. We want to emulate the characters that impress us. One of my things, when I was a kid, I loved biographies. More than other stories, because the biographies, these were the stories of these people's lives and what they went through and how they got to be who they came to be. We used to have heroes that were like, all right, don't make fun of me. Okay, my age is showing, all right, it happens. The Lone Ranger and Leave It to Beaver, and we had things that were more wholesome. Now, let's think about this. When we use the word wholesome, we think about like bread. You can get a wholesome bread. It's made with whole grains and good ingredients, or you can get bread that is not wholesome. Bleached flour, the nutrients drained out and then chemically re-added in. So which do you prefer? So if you look at wholesome as something that feeds you well, then you're on the right track. it said in my research that young people are most susceptible. Why are young people most susceptible? It says they may start to dress, act, and live the way they imagine their idols do. Okay? So they are behaving in the way that the people that they think are cool behave. Even though that person may be a star in a show who behaves nothing like what they do on the show. They're playing a part. But we don't always see them as playing that part. We see them as being that part we play. Remember Shakespeare? All the world's a stage, and we are the actors. And sometimes we act every part. Well, we are out of time, so I'm going to stop there. And, remember, I'm not saying this is bad, that's good. I'm saying it's not what you got, it's what you do with it. We'll go into more of the why all that happens tomorrow. Yeah. So for now, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, you can go to YouTube and subscribe so you don't miss any. Feel free to post questions on the thread or in on my private messenger on Facebook. Have a great rest of what's left of the day, and I hope I will see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.